Welcome back to the Atlas Masterclass. Today we're making a stir-fried tofu with some Thai basil and chili and rice noodles. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a really simple sauce, full of flavour with our vegetarian stir-fry sauce and some soy, so big, salty, delicious flavours. Then you've got the bok choy and some cucumber. We're going to finely chop the chili and the garlic, and then we'll pick the Thai basil. Then with this as well, you can press the tofu slightly, so putting something like flat on top of it and just helping get any of that excess water out if you'd like. It will just make it firmer so it doesn't break up. But I'll start by cutting the base off our bok choy and then opening into single leaves. And you might want to give it another wash, but I do find the bok choy can be slightly dirty inside the core of the vegetable. So you might want to just give that a secondary wash. With the cucumber, we're just going to cut it into some nice big long pieces. These are really just to be served fresh along the side, so very similar to how in Thailand there's always some fresh veg somewhere on the dish, and we just want to highlight that sort of freshness with this dish. With the chili and garlic, I'm just going to squash the garlic, and then finely chop it. And then I'll be sure to run my knife through that a few more times, trying to get it really nice and fine. And then with the chili, exactly the same thing, so just chopping it down quite fine. And then chopping that again and again until you get it nice and fine. So that's essentially all our cutting done. And take your time with that, the finer you get it, it does spread better through the dish. And then last but not least, we've just got our Thai basil, so I'm just going to pick that down into individual leaves and we'll put that through at the end of the cook. And just taking your time to pick all that till you've got it all picked nicely. So next we're going to cut the tofu. So I just cut straight through the middle, like that. And then into some nice big pieces. So for this tofu here, I've sort of got 6 nice lengths, and then maybe in half, and then in half again. And you get a really nice even dice. That there is exactly what we're looking for. So now we're going to add in our vegetarian stir-fry sauce. Our soy. And then go to your pantry and grab some sugar as well. Mixing that all in together. And you just want to mix it and make sure the sugar is dissolved before you start cooking with it. So take your time. Give it a really good mix, and that should create a really nice, sweet, delicious sauce that will absolutely coat the dish to perfection once you start cooking. And now we're going to add our rice noodles into the pan. We're going to cook those for 6 minutes in boiling water. So just putting them in, we'll just move them around as we're cooking them to make sure that we're going to be getting really delicious rice noodles. We'll strain those off, and then at the end, we'll let them steam for a little bit longer, which will just finish that cooking process. So now for this step, we're going to fry our tofu. So we add a little bit of oil into the pan, mix that around, and then we're going to place the tofu in. And we want to get a nice bit of colour on this first before we add in our minced chili and garlic to sweat that off. So because the tofu, it will be quite wet, it's good to just fry it off, so then this will help create a bit of a crust that will make it so it doesn't fall apart once you start to actually stir fry the dish. So just taking our time, place it in nicely, and then we'll just be checking back in this in about 1 or 2 minutes to add the chili and garlic. So now I've got a nice sear on our tofu and also our rice noodles already. I'm going to pour the rice noodles off, just leave them there to cool. And so with the tofu, I add the chili and the garlic in now, and then we're going to cook that, and then we'll start adding the sauce. So now we're going to add in our sauce. Half of our Thai basil, and then our bok choy. Now add in our noodles. And give it a really good toss. And then we'll be ready to serve. And so now to serve, get our bowl. We're just going to nicely place it in. You know, you really want to show off that beautiful caramelized tofu on top. It'll be super, you know, it's so tasty, this dish. Playing around with all those lovely Thai flavors. And you know, very, very nice. So we'll just add that in. Last but not least, we'll add in some cucumber on the side, a bit more Thai basil, and then some of our peanut and shallot mix. And there we have it, a beautiful tofu stir fry with rice noodles, peanut shallots, and Thai basil.